For 30 years, Omar al Bashir ruled over Sudan with apparent immunity. But now he's standing trial on corruption and embezzlement charges. He's also wanted by the International Criminal Court for alleged war crimes.
This is a political case because people were saying that this president looted the country's money and took it out of Sudan. That is what is being said by the media, but we have contested that in court today.
While Bashir awaits his fate in court, the people of Sudan have taken theirs in their own hands. On Saturday, the military council that's ruled the country since Bashir's ouster in April signed a roadmap for return to civilian rule. The agreement was reached after massive popular protests.
I assure you that our armed forces will do their best in order to protect the will of the people and the safety of the transition to a democratic civilian rule.
After demonstrating for democracy for months, people in Sudan went on the streets in celebration and full of hopes for a better future.
We hope for Sudan to move forward so that we can be proud of our country, forget about the guns and move towards peace, freedom, prosperity and unity. We hope to open new job opportunities for our youth.
But the economy's been rattled by years of mismanagement and political strife. Foreign loans have surged to 62% of GDP, raising the risk of default. The African Development Bank says GDP growth will fall to 3.6% this year, from 4.1% in 2018. That may further worsen the jobless rate from the current 14%. Improving the economy will be difficult as long as Sudan remains under US sanctions. But Washington says it's not ready to lift the restrictions yet.
Sudan remains designated as a state sponsor. That remains in effect. There are a number of things we're looking forward to engaging in a civilian-led government. The issues that before us include the promotion of human rights and religious freedom. Counterterrorism efforts are important as well, expanding those, addressing certain outstanding terrorist-related claims by American citizens, and other areas of long-standing American concern to promote internal peace, political stability, and economic recovery.
Many Sudanese worry that reforms they and the international community want may not follow.
We are hoping for the best, but we don't trust them completely.
There are still people who are missing, and we're asking the new government about their release and whereabouts.
So while they celebrate the power-sharing deal between the military and the opposition, the Sudanese people know they still have a difficult road ahead. Mobin Nasir, TRT World.
Well, let's get more on this now from TRT World's Khalil Charles, who joins us live now from Khartoum. Hi, Khalil. As we heard from Mobin's story there, this trial is not only being closely watched among the Sudanese, but also the international community. What exactly did we hear during the first day of proceedings?
Well, we heard President Bashir, the former president, say that he has done nothing wrong, that he hasn't appropriated money from the state, but that the money that was found in his office and also in his private residence, this is cash which came from the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. Now, he says that this money was used with charitable efforts, and also that he doesn't own any property in Sudan apart from a house and a farm, and he has never taken any money from the country. And this is the stance that he seems to maintain. However, of course, there is a substantial amount of money which does breach the law that he introduced. In fact, in February, the emergency laws was introduced by himself under a presidential decree, in which it said that nobody can hold more than $5,000 in hard currency before it is transferred over to a bank. And it also said that you can't hold more than 3 billion of Sudanese currency. So again, it exceeds these levels by a vast amount of money, and so it's just not clear at the moment how in fact this money was given. But of course the investigation will continue, with the prosecution putting their case today and the defense doing their bits to defend him in the following week.
Yes, of course, this trial is beginning just days after that landmark deal between the military and, I guess, pro-democracy protesters was signed over the weekend. Tell us more about what was in that agreement.
Yes, in many ways the agreement is a test of the Sudanese new found democracy because the agreement is a shared power sharing agreement between the military and the civilians. It will last for 3 years. 21 months, of course, will be the first led by the military, and then we'll hand over to civilian rule. Now, Saturday, the signing of that historic agreement means that the impasse, which has been there for nearly 4 months with the two sides trying to come to some kind of negotiation, has in fact been broken. But today, the bad news, I guess, they was expecting to swear in the Sovereign Council, which of course is made up of 5 people from civilians and 5 from the military, and an extra 1 which is agreed on by both sides. That didn't happen today because of disputes within the civilian part of the government, in which they haven't been able to name the 5 people responsible for that. But there is, I have to say, a lot of hope. Even though the economic situation in the country hasn't changed, we still see long bread queues and bread shortages as well. People queuing for up to an hour and a half or 2 hours to get bread. So that economic situation has not changed, but the hope that the political situation will bring about some kind of change is there. The hope is there for the people of Sudan.
Okay, Khalil Charles in Khartoum, thank you so much for that update.